Hey YouTube, welcome back. This video is going to be a little bit different. Do a little electronics video. I haven't done one in a while. So I have like a little series of videos I'm going to do here. And each one's going to build on the next. And the last one's going to be kind of crazy. A few people told me don't do it. So that usually means let's give it a shot. So anyhow, that's the last video. Let's talk about it. This video is going to be just a little simple electronics project. So device I'm going to need for my next video. So stay tuned. It's going to be fun. Okay, so you can see what I got here. It's going to be an Arduino project. I got this Arduino Uno circuit board, little microcontroller that we use for doing stuff. I got a breadboard for our temporary setup here. You know, the Uno breadboard, servo motor, and a photo resistor. I don't know if you can see that. Photo resistor. We got a resistor. Let's see, we're looking at orange, black, brown. What is it? Orange, black, brown. 3, 0, and 1, 0. So 300 ohms, little 300 ohm resistor, and some jumper wires for testing purposes. So what I want to do is control a servo motor. You know, if anybody doesn't know what a servo motor is, it's just a little motor that you can control its position. It doesn't like spin and turn a wheel like a regular motor. It just turns. You can tell it turn 90 degrees, 0 degrees, 180 degrees. Let's see, this one seems to go a little more than 180 degrees. So it probably goes 180 degrees. So yeah, we can use the Arduino Uno board here. I have a couple of other Arduino boards. I got this Nano that I wanted to use because for the next video I'm going to want it to be as small as possible. So I was trying to use this one, but for some reason I haven't used this in a few years, and the laptop won't see it, the computer won't see it, won't detect it. I don't know what's going on. We'll figure that out some other time. For now, we're going to use this one. I'm going to have to figure that out because I need a small one. But anyhow, I also have something else pretty cool I might be able to use in the future. I might, if I can get this working for this project. This is called a tiny circuit. So there's a whole computer here. It's kind of cool, a little microcontroller, and it just has like a this is it right here. This is the microcontroller. Pretty cool, right? Teeny little thing. And then it has all these other boards here. It has like actually I'm not sure what this one is, but if I had to guess for things I bought, I would say this is probably like an accelerometer, gyroscope type board. And then this is the USB board. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing here. The camera's focusing. This is the USB communication board. Got to have that so you can plug into it and program it. And then this is just a breakout board. You know, breaks out all these pins onto here, so you can solder wires to volts, inputs, outputs, whatever. And so you got a whole deal there that I could possibly, also the main microcontroller board has a coin battery thing on the back. You can see that. So you can power it with that. I'm not sure if you could turn a servo motor with it. Anyhow, I'm getting sidetracked. We're not dealing with that right now. We'll work on that later. Right? We're going to turn a servo motor, but we're not just going to turn a servo motor. We're going to use this photo resistor right here. We're going to use a photo resistor to turn the servo motor according to how much light is on. So if I turn the lights on, the servo motor will turn to 180 degrees. Turn the lights off, the servo motor will turn back to 0. You know, that's the plan. Let's see how it works out. So yeah, so to build this circuit, we need the photoresistor. Wait, let's start with power here. We're going to get power to this breadboard from the Uno for right now. It'll power this for a minute. So on the Uno, I don't know if you can see, there's like 3.3 volts, 5 volts, ground. Here's all your analog inputs. Ground here, digital. These all could be inputs and outputs, I believe, if I remember right. It's been a while since I messed with the Uno, the Arduino stuff. So we're going to get power from here. So let's just take some jumper wires and we're going to go into 5 volts here. Plug into 5 volts and we'll give these breadboards, for anybody who might not know, you know, all of these are connected together, all of these are connected together, then all of these are connected together, and all of these. So that's how you can wire things together. So I can just put power right to this little plus right here. Now all of these have that 5 volts on them. Okay? So we're going to take another one and go to ground, which is right next to it here, ground, and connect it to ground here. So now anything I want to connect up on this breadboard would be easy. I can get power and ground from right here. So we will take, let's see, do we want this on the power or the ground? Well, we'll put it on the power side. So we're going to take power into our photoresistor and we'll just put it over here. If I can get it plugged in. Okay, so we got power. On the other side of this, we need to build like a voltage divider, right? Otherwise, I should check this. I don't know what resistance this goes down to. This might go down to 0 ohms. And if it does, and we don't build a little voltage divider circuit here, then when that goes to 0 ohms, we'll just be shorting out our circuit, and that wouldn't be good. So we're going to go from one side of the photoresistor here to ground. So now our circuit is going through a 330 ohm resistor. I don't know, I probably feel better with a 1K, but that's the resistor I grabbed. I think it'd be alright. I got a stack of resistors, but we'll see. 330 ohms. I don't know what kind of current power that is. Surely Arduino will yell at us if we pull too much. Anyhow, so we got power through the photoresistor, through this resistor, and to ground. A little circuit. Teeny little circuit, right? Probably start on the wrong end of this plan, but anyhow, so now we need to come off of the middle of that because it's a voltage divider, right? We're dividing 5 volts and 0, and if this was 330 ohms, we'd be dividing it in half. You'd have 2.5 volts right here, right? Anyhow, this is going to be our input, so we're going to just pick an input on the Uno board, A0, analog input 0. And, alright, so now we got a voltage divider. And depending on how much light, if I cover it up, maybe we have, I don't know, I should check it. Let me get a meter and check it. Okay, so I just grabbed my meter and checked the photoresistor. So like in direct sunlight, it basically went to 0 ohms. And whenever I cover it in complete darkness, like under the desk, like it was like around 5K. So that's pretty good. 5,000 ohms resistance change for light to dark. But anyhow, so I only got a 330 ohm resistor here. So let's just see what happens. Okay, so anyhow, so I'm going to divide this. I could put the meter on it, I guess, just to see what my voltage change is. But this will work good enough for now. Let's try it. So that's our input part of the circuit. Photoresistor voltage is going to change according to how much we cover the photoresistor That's our input. Okay, so we got our power over here. And now we got a servo motor. So we're going to need an output to do something with our servo motor. So what we can do here is just give it power and ground. Let's tear this thing off. We will say green is ground and yellow is power. Okay, so there's our power and ground, and we're powering it from this Uno, which I don't know, might be a little bit much for the Uno's power. Actually, we're powering it from the USB cable. Can you see the USB? Yeah. But if we actually, you know, in the next video when I actually create a device out of this, I'll have to power it from a battery of some kind. I got like a rechargeable battery somewhere I can hook up somehow, maybe. Anyhow, okay, so now we got power going to our servo motor. Now we just need a signal wire so we can tell it what to do. So here's our signal, it's orange. And that is going to go to one of these inputs here. We can just pick one, whichever one we want. And I don't know why everyone picks 9. 9. Input 9. Okay, so that's our circuit. That's all we have to do mechanically. Now we can just look at the software. Okay. This didn't do anything, but I don't think we told it to do anything yet. I thought maybe when I powered it, it might do something, but nope. Okay, so let's look at some software. Let me switch around the cameras here so we can look at software. Okay, so here's what we got. This is the Arduino programming window here. See, it's called a sketch. And we are connected to our Arduino Uno. Actually, it's not plugged in right now. See, it's not connected. But anyhow, so here's the sketch. This is the whole program right here. There's not much to it right here. So all we have is this include servo H. So we have to include, this is a library that they give you different libraries to communicate, to do different things, but in this case to communicate with a servo. So you don't have to know how to, you know, write code to do pulse width modulation, whatever that servos need to know where to go. They did all that behind the scenes with this little packet here. So we just including servo.h, which means now our little program will know how to talk to a servo motor. And then I created a little integer here called photo. That's for my little photo resistor. I gotta tell it, you know, what is going to be at that input. It's a photo resistor. And then a servo. I called it Mark's servo, right? Why not? Why not? So we made a servo object and called it Mark's servo. So these are things we do before we start our setup. Now in our setup, we told it that Mark's servo is attached to pin number 9 on the board. So whenever you want to control this servo, send that signal to pin number 9, because that's where he's at. And then I just did this serial begin 9600 baud, because that's what that communicates anyhow. But I just did this so that I can look in the serial monitor window down here and see these numbers. I can see the actual numbers that are coming into the input from that photo resistor. So without this, it just doesn't show you. You know, it's not necessary, but for troubleshooting purposes or whatever, this is good to have down here. And then, so that's the setup. All we had to do to set it up was tell it what pin was on number 9. I believe we probably could have told it which pin the photo resistor was on up here too, but anyhow, we didn't. So here's the loop. This is the part of the program that just gets run through over and over and over. It just runs through this over and over and over until you unplug it. So what it's going to do in this loop is it's going to say photo, my little photo resistor. It's going to read it from pin A1 and make this photo integer. It's going to make this little variable the value of pin A1. All right, so when it reads A1, it's going to store that in photo. And we're going to print line photo. So this is just saying, you know, our serial down here, print the value of photo down here. So that way we can see what value is coming in on this pin A1 from the photoresistor, so that I can use that information to determine what I want to make these two numbers, or this number here really is the only one. You know, if I'm having 1 through 50, then I might put like 5 in here. I guess I need to move on here before that makes sense. So anyhow, so it's going this line here is going to show us what's down here, and then here's where we're really starting the guts of what we want to do. So I'm just using an if-else statement here. So if the photo, this photo, what's reading in on A1, if that is less than 40, then write to mark servo a 0. And so it will write, so when we're writing to the servo, we're writing in 0, 90, or 180, or any number in between that, you know, in degrees. It's like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, so it'll move the servo into whatever position you put here. 0 position or 180 is what I'm after, because I just want to move it from 0 to 180, back to 0. So I said, if it's less than 40, because I can see these numbers down here, I was getting anywhere from like 7 or 5 to like 700. Whenever it had a lot of light, you know, shining a light in it, it was getting like 700. Covering it up completely, it was like 7 or 5 or whatever. So I just said, you know, if it's less than 40, write a 0 to the servo. Make it go to the 0 position. Else, make it go to the 180 position. So now if it's less than 40, it's going to be at 0. If it goes above 40, which any light at all was making it go to like 100. You know, if it's shining a flashlight and it was going like 700. So anything over 40 is going to be light in it. And then it'll go to the 180 position. So it's real easy to just like turn the light off and it's going to go to the 0 position, turn the light on, it's going to go to 180. So, and that's really all I was after. My photoresistor was able to make the servo go from 0 to 180, back to 0, depending on if you gave it light or not. And that's it. Pretty simple, right? That's all, the whole deal. And then, okay, so that's all we need from this screen in this recording. Okay, so that wasn't all we need from this. So I actually plugged it in, and you can see this is just ambient light right now. Not like directly shining any light on it. I'm not covering it up. It's just kind of ambient light from the room. I'm getting numbers around 100 and something, 40 maybe. So you can see I'm going to put my thumb over it and see, drop down to like 29, 21, 10. I don't know why. Yesterday I was dropping down to like 7, 5, but it's less than 40. So my servo went to 0. I let go of it. I let go of it and it disconnected apparently. But the servo did go to 180. Cover it up, 0, let go, 180. So anyhow, that's, I don't know why my serial monitor is crashing, but you saw, hang on. The light's on in here, so I cover it up. See, I'm getting it down to like 20. So 180, 0. 180, 0. I'm losing my serial monitor for some reason. Okay, so there you go. Pretty simple, right? So this is the first step in my project that I'm doing. So I hope you enjoyed this. It's, you know, maybe somebody will get some interest into microcontrollers and Arduinos and work on some cool projects because it's fun stuff. So just a quick little video, microcontroller, photoresistor, servo motor. All right, stay tuned for the next one. It's going to get better.